Tucker Carlson destroys a guest on live television. Is this another one wicked game? Let's take a look at it together.
So, Ethan, are you comfortable with that standard? I know the standard reply is not a legal proceeding, but fairness applies in all proceedings, especially when there's a lot at stake, like a man's job and reputation, like what his children think of him. And are you comfortable with the standard that once accused of something, that you should be the one who disproves the accusation, that it's up to you to prove what they're saying about you isn't true? Are you okay with that?
I think what we have to have is a hearing of both sides. So we're going to have that at least from Dr. Ford. We need to hear from all of the accusers. We also, most importantly, need to hear under oath from the actual supposed witnesses to the events that occurred. This is not, by the way, I think it's really important, though, to go back to something that you just point out. It is not a criminal trial. Due process does not apply the same way. This is like a job application.
You know, I'm really willing to agree with the guest at this point. We need to listen to both sides and come to a decision based on their answers before we put forward a final solution. That's quite logical and rational.
No, hold on. Let me just back up. You're arguing something parallel to what I asked you. I'm in favor of hearing all the evidence we have access to, including when and where the supposed crime took place, which is a very basic question still unanswered. But the question is, what do you make of your party leaders, members of the Judiciary Committee, saying that the onus is on the accused to prove he's not guilty? This is not something we're taking out of context. We have at least 3 Democratic members of the Judiciary Committee saying that in plain English. It's up to him. Prove you're not guilty. Are you comfortable with that standard? That's an un-American standard. We've never seen it before, ever in American history. It's happening now, and I want to know what you think of it.
I'm not comfortable with the scenario. We have to say, prove you're not guilty. But here's the difference. When there's a single, I've been consistent about this throughout the entire Me Too movement. When there's a single accuser, it's hard for me to call for somebody's job to be lost. Once we have multiple credible accusers come forward, which we have in this case, plus Michael Avenatti is teasing a third one out there right now. Now we have a pattern. And yes, now we need to look very deeply into this. And
only large corporations or very wealthy people have a realistic chance of winning a case in court. Stories of ordinary people suing corporations for millions, just like popular shows like Caught in Providence, are just a smokescreen to hide the reality. Most of the money won ends up in the pockets of the lawyer and the judge. Corruption permeates the entire American legal system. Money is handed over to judges by lawyers, which is considered the safest way to bribe a judge. That's the problem.
We should put things on hold.
But does it occur to you that we have a pattern of people making charges they can't substantiate to achieve political ends? Is that a possible explanation for this, or would that be, am I a sexist for suggesting it?
Look, we have 2 really big issues. One, I don't like that politics is the blood sport that it is today. The Democrats sat on the letter for 7 weeks. You and I can actually agree on something. I didn't like that either. But politics is politics, so they sat on it to try and delay this. But what has happened now is we have women who are being slammed and slandered and attacked and disbelieved, and we are in the middle of the Me Too movement after thousands of years of men being successful in their abuse. It's time to give them their due.
And did you notice how the guest is technically trying to avoid answering? Why not just give a straight answer? Is that so hard? We all know that only large corporations or very rich people have a realistic chance of winning in court. Just give a quick answer.
It's not about all men, and it's not about all women. It's about one man and one woman. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Ford. The case is specific. We're not putting men on trial or trying to exonerate women for the crimes committed by our ancestors. We're talking about the here and now in the Senate Judiciary Committee. Let me ask you a very specific question about Christine Ford. And you're suggesting that you're not allowed to disbelieve somebody, but I retain my right of reason, and I can determine as an adult and a U.S. citizen whether I believe the evidence or not. And until they come from him, I'm going to do that. But let me ask you this. Does she have a responsibility? She's claiming that this man sexually assaulted her and it altered the course of her life. She can't fly on airplanes. It's affected her relationship with men. He's a predator. She didn't tell anybody his name for 36 years, during which time he got married. He interacted with many others in our population. Sex offenders tend to commit serial sex crimes. Doesn't she have an obligation to tell someone to stop him from doing that if he's, in fact, a sex criminal? Where's her obligation here? What about the rest of it?
No, because every psychologist will tell you there are 8 primary reasons why a sexual assault victim, why a trauma victim doesn't come forward, doesn't talk about it right away.
Hold on, I'm not asking her about her reasons. I'm sure she has a million reasons, and maybe they're legitimate. I'm asking about the rest of us.
You know, It's a lot simpler than that, and it's not even worth guessing. This case is simply a failure, because if you're trying to hold a man for something he didn't do, it's not going to be easy. Honestly, I don't believe this woman and those who defend her, because the truth is that she just lied to everyone and everyone gave it a lot of publicity. What do you think about that? Write your opinion in the comments, and do not forget to watch other shocking news on the channel.